So lots of conversations with different teams. And like I said, I pointed out earlier about navigating larger teams. So I have the benefit of a data science team, and they are incredible. And so I'm able to get a lot of our quantitative information and data from our data scientists. And so I can sit and navigate through data with them. I work with a team of designers on several products. And so I'm always collaborating and talking with them about problems and how we need to solve these problems. I work with product owners. I have several product owners that I work with. And so a lot of my day is spent connecting the dots and really making sure that everyone understands the importance of what users need and the problems that we're solving and what value is a project, a feature, something that is coming down the line. What is that? How does that bring value to the overall experience? So a lot of connecting the dots and being an advocate for the user. And so when you look at product design specifically, you can actually consider product like a phone, a computer, like these tangible type of products. But again, people use product design research also to mean software research. So the actual research of a product like LinkedIn, but it's really a software, right? So you can just use user experience. So the job titles of UX, I'm going to be very transparent, have become a little bit muddy throughout the years. And my main recommendation is to, if you see that job title, go to that company and be that company who's posting it and really read through what it is that they're asking for. They could be just asking for a user experience researcher, but internally, they're calling it product design research. And so you can have those differentials there. And then, I know user experience researchers who have that title who actually work on product. If that makes sense. Manager, I think where you can connect the dots, someone could ask the same question of me if they're in any position really. So where you can connect the dots and really have the experience where you can take what you know from UX research or you read on UX research and see where you can apply that in your program manager day to day. That's going to be important as well. And so, just sometimes I'm a visual person. And so I like to write things out. And sometimes it's just creating that list. What are you doing as a program manager? What is a UX researcher day to day or look like, and see where those overlap. And I would think as a program manager, you probably have the capability of actually sitting with a UX researcher as well. Definitely do some shadowing. Hopefully you have. Great question. So there's usually a series of interviews. So it usually starts with a phone interview just to kind of get a signal on the kind of work that you've done, the teams that you've worked with, to see how you're able to articulate the work that you've done. That's why I was calling out, it's very important to be intentional about what you're doing and specific, because you're going to want to be able to tell that story and being able to just tell it very quickly. And so phone interviews usually lead to a one-on-one interview with, say, a manager over VC, over video conferencing. And then it can go sometimes anywhere between 3 to 4 interviews. So you can do, like I said, phone, a face-to-face via video conferencing. And then usually you are asked to do a use case study or a project that you have to present. And if that goes well, then you get on an on-site interview. And before coming to LinkedIn, and I've been transparent about this, I did several interviews with Airbnb, I don't know why, but like Uber, Facebook. And so so you have to think for each one of these interviews, I was literally creating a use case and a project because I thankfully was able to get all the way through to an on-site for all of these. And so you have to be ready for the long haul. Like if you get it on the first try, congratulations. But I was thankful for the experience of going through and being able to interview with all of these companies, being able to make it, in some cases, on site to several of these companies, and compare the interview process. But there's a lot of traveling. I was not expecting the work, so there is work involved. So buckle up. Something that was consistent in my experience, and I'll kind of reiterate this again, is being able to speak through the process. What did that process look like in coming up with the use case, or what did the process look like if the project manager said we need this tested in 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks. So without kind of doing specific questions, I would say being able to talk through process is really important. Being able to talk to when things, of course, is kind of a common, when things didn't go correctly, or when research findings weren't received, things like that. But like I said, there's tons of information online. There's sites that actually give specific questions. You can actually look to see what company, if you're interested in a specific company. People, they're not supposed to post the questions, but people do post the questions. That's a broad question, but what I love about this position is you really begin to see things very holistically. When you are able to navigate experiences from end to end, you begin to see all the different moving parts, all the different components and people that are involved. And so I would say, to quote my alma mater, or my college, you can get anywhere from here. Like you literally can just navigate in so many different directions. So if you wanted to go into product because you're dealing with product managers and product owners, you can go into product because you have that front row seat to what they're doing in their day to day. If you want to pivot into design, I know some people who are doing kind of a hybrid of design and research. So if you want to solely go into design, that's an option. I know some people, not a lot, but I know a couple of people who have actually went into UI and became front end engineers because they were able to have the empathy in terms of creating beautiful things, and did it in a way that they knew that they could create a better experience. And so there's so many different ways that you can go, which is fantastic. You can go the academia route, right? Like once you've gone through a lot of this industry, you can, go back and get your doctorates or something like that, and go teach. So there's just so many things that you can do. You can create your journey, and that's what's great. There's no cookie cutter recipe for this. That's what's exciting. That's why I said it's important. Have a toolkit, have a playbook, and write your own story in this.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So, great question. And so, as a senior user experience researcher, the things that I am excited about are the unknowns and the ability to do a lot more foundational and discovery work. And what do I mean by that is there may not be any type of feature or product yet in the works or developed. And so I get to really start early in the process, really start to take the time to strategize and have a strategy, and begin to navigate what it is that we're trying to do. So as a senior experienced researcher, you begin to go deeper and longer sometimes in your projects, and being really able to have these, like I said, creative and critical thinking sessions, not only be strategic, but learn how to strategize in planning and executing and who needs to be in the room, and really have those hard conversations sometimes with a product, and saying, hey, this may not be what we need to do. How can we do this in a way that's really going to bring value? So that's really exciting for me as a senior researcher, and being able to navigate, like I said, those hard conversations and those harder projects that take sometimes longer. And then so as a program manager,